What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to Misplayed Magic, where I like to draft with a challenge. For today's challenge, we have no challenge. Oh my goodness, it's happening. I can draft whatever I want. This is humongous news. In this first pack, we open a bomb rare in the Aang Swift Savior. I picked that up quickly. Very excited to add that to our deck. Hopping into this next pack, there's a couple decent cards. I end up going with the Airbending lesson as a solid removal effect. Continuing through this next selection, we go with the reinforcements. Really solid. Just make 2/1s that are both allies. Here, Lost Days, top performing common in the set. We go ahead and pick that up as well as a solid removal effect. Now, I don't mind the Glider Kids at all. Having flyers, especially if we're blue-white, can be really good. Now I go safe. I go with the Zhangzhang's reinforcements as a really solid 2-mana creature, plus can put counters onto those flyers. Here we pick up a Kyoshi Warriors and an Appa Loyal Sky Bison as some really solid allies. Holy cow, is blue-white open? We pick up a Yip Yip there. Here, not really that much good left in this first pack, but we have a really strong start here in a blue-white allies deck. Here we pick up the Flexible Waterbender and the Rough Rhino Cavalry. Cards we're probably not going to be playing today. Hopping into this next pack, we could go with the Momo Friendly Flyer, but I decided to go with the Suki instead. This card is insane. Hopping into this next pack, I really like the Earth Kingdom Protectors as a way to save our allies. Wow, Hakoda is another great ally card. White allies is certainly open. Blue-white might be open as well. Here we get the Momo that I think is better, the uncommon Momo Playful Pet, which is good. Here I end up going with the Teo Spirited Glider, really good with those flying synergies we might have. Here I go with the Yue, the Moon Spirit, as a decent enough flyer. Maybe could have taken the Avatar Enthusiasts. Now I go with the Master Piandao over the first time flyer. I think that's a pretty good top-end creature for us to have. Here we take a Sandbender Storm for really light arm removal. And here, Boomerang Basics this late is a great sign. Really solid removal effect. Zhangzhang's Deserters, also great here. Water Tribe Captain, not bad either. So we have a lot of really solid allies and a pretty good-looking deck heading into this last pack, which is super exciting. Moving into this last pack, there's not a ton for us here. I do like Team Avatar. It is only a C-, but it's pretty fun. I end up going with the Zhangzhang's Deserters here, playing it super safe, just taking a bunch of 2-mana creatures, making sure that we're going to be able to curve out and not get run over in this draft. Here, I take the Geyser Leaper. Maybe should have taken a Glider Kids, but I think we have enough as is in our 3-mana slot. Here I go with another Master Piandao to kind of replace that Geyser Leaper, and wow, we take a Katara here, which is a fantastic card, really great top-end rare. Now we go with the Watery Grasp, another solid removal effect, which I'm excited about. Here we take the Water Musicians, probably not going to end up playing it. I think about the Suki here. I end up going with the Compassionate Healer, just again, trying to make sure our mana curve looks as responsible as it can, because we've got some heat in this deck. Here we kind of round out this pack with a bunch of filler cards. I think we're going to be playing in this deck. It's shaping out to look really strong. I'm super excited about the way it's turning out. So here's the deck we're going to be rocking with today. It looks great. We've got some super powerful cards, a great curve. I'm hoping we can get some good wins here today. And just a reminder, I'm going to be doing giveaways based on how I draft. You'll see up on the screen, if I get 0 wins in this draft, I'm giving away a collector booster pack of Avatar: The Last Airbender, all the way down to if I get 7 wins, I'm giving away a draft for free to one of you. All I have to do to claim that is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below on how you think I did. All right, jumping into this first game, I can't say I hate this opening hand. We've got only 2 mana, so, want to draw a land here eventually, but some really strong cards in our hand if we can get there. Our opponent plays the Judy here, which is a pretty fun card. We end up drawing a land there, which is fantastic. I go ahead. I just play the Zhangzhang's Deserters. A 2/3 is a pretty good blocker against their 2/2. I'm hopeful we can just kind of hold up for a second here. They've got a Merchant of Many Hats, which is a pretty fun draw. So now they can Surveil. They can make another Judy, and they can get rid of their Merchant of Many Hats and get it back in a following turn. So they're setting up a little engine over there. Here we go ahead. We attack with our 2/3. I think the goal is that I can flash in the Aang Swift Savior, and then we can try and bounce their token and block a 2/2. That feels pretty good. Here they get a little bit aggressive. They actually sacrifice their Earth Village Ruffians to make another Judy and make a 2/2 land creature. So here, this is just Blowout City. We get to play the Aang. We get to block their 2/2. We get to bounce their other 2/2 they made, and we just end up wildly ahead here. Super excited with how that turned out. We draw another land, which is great news. So here I start attacking. We got our opponent down to 14, and then we just play out our Hakoda. A 3/5 is pretty annoying to deal with for our opponent. Turns out they do have a second color. They have a Plains, which is crazy. Here they sacrifice a Wolf Bat to get rid of our Hakoda, which is unfortunate, but it's also okay. Our opponent's got one card left in hand plus the Merchant of Many Hats, so I'm feeling pretty decent about this one as it currently stands. We go ahead, we attack for 4 here. They don't block. We can just play our Master Piandao, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about this. They play a land, and then they attack us everywhere, which I am terrified by. I think this screams board clear. Even still, we could be okay. They do end up having the Rise of Sozin, which is the highest rated card in the entire set. So we go from super ahead to kind of ahead, also kind of behind. I don't really know how we're going to punch through 10 points of damage here. They also call out Airbending Lesson, which we had in our hand, which they take out of our hand, which is insane to me that they just pulled that. We end up drawing other planes here, so we can go ahead and we can attack for 3. I thought about playing Zhang before combat. I decided to do it after combat, after thinking for a while and looking at their Sozin, because their Sozin is a 5/4, so I was thinking about blocking it. Definitely missed out on a point of damage there. Not my best playing in the world. They get to flip their Sozin, excuse me, and then they have the Heibai here as well. So we're up against some shenanigans. I'm hoping we can just go super wide here, like an airbending spell or removal spell here goes great for us. But we don't end up pulling. We end up pulling a land. They get their Merchant Mini Hats back into their hand, back on the battlefield. They can sacrifice it again. They start attacking us for 7, which doesn't feel great. I end up not blocking it because, again, I'm trying to just buff our entire board and sneak in some lethal damage here. But then they have a Pretending Poxbears, and they can get back their Merchant Mini Hats. Here we draw a flyer, which is good. But I'm afraid it's just going to be a little bit too little too late. They can play their Merchant Mini Hats again. They can continue to attack us if they want to with their Heibai, which they do. They sacrifice it, they get it back, they can play it again. We just are going up against an engine that isn't fantastic, and as you'll see, we just draw a ton of lands. They play the Merchant Mini Hats again. It's just a vicious cycle we're up against here, and we draw another island, which is not great. We attack with our Momo Playful Pet. Doesn't feel great. I thought about buffing it there. We'd get them down to 5. Really could have been 4 if we played this a little bit differently, but you'll see we kind of just run out of steam here. They're able to sacrifice things, get them back. We have to double block pretty precariously here. We end up losing our Water Tribe captain. And this is really the turning point of where we go from ahead to really behind. That Firelord Sozin is so good. And you'll see we just don't really have a great answer for it. So we're kind of behind on board. We draw another land. I end up fast forwarding. They end up getting a Cat Gator out there. They won the top deck war. We're 0-1. I thought this deck was insane. Maybe it is. Maybe it will go on a heater. But it definitely didn't go great in that first one for us. Happen into this next one. We draw a couple lands, which is great. We can play our Zhang's Deserter, make a 2/3, which feels pretty good. We've also got the Suki in hand, which can make it into a 3/3, which is kind of crazy. They play the Earth Kingdom Jailer with no targets, which I'm okay with. We play the Suki Courageous Rescuer here. We can attack for 3, which feels pretty good. I bet our opponent is wishing they didn't play their Earth Kingdom Jailer a turn early. Here, they did not play a land. So we can play a Zhang's Deserter. We can buff up one of our other Zhang's Deserters and our Suki, and we can attack for 7 here. They don't really have great blocks as it stands, because either way, they'd be losing either their Jailer or both creatures. So we get them down to 10 here, and we just, next turn we can play the Katara. This was insane. We are back quickly. We're 1-1, and we are looking to continue on this winning streak. Here we got another great opening hand. We can play the Momo Playful Pet on turn 1. We can play our Glider Kids on turn 3, and then hopefully the Teo Spirited Glider can help us take over this game. So we go ahead and we attack for 1. We're holding up a counterspell here. We don't have it. They play an Unlucky Cabbage Merchant, which is decent enough. Here, another land is not bad at all. We go and attack for 1, and we just play out our Glider Kids. A lot of power in the skies for us here in this game, which is really exciting. Our opponent is hanging out there with their 2/2 on the ground. They play Glider Kids for themselves, which is not a bad blocker here. I still do think getting the Teo out on the battlefield here made a lot of sense, though, allowing us to draw into our deck, draw and discard, and maybe put counters onto the Teo Spirited Glider or the Glider Kids. We end up not discarding a non-land there, so we only get blocked by their 2/3. Here they have the Earth King, which is really strong. Think about this turn for a minute. We go ahead, we play the Zhang's Deserters, we target the Glider Kids so we can actually attack with that. We end up discarding another Zhang's Deserters so we can put another counter on the Glider Kids. Here I go ahead and I Watery Grasp their 4/4, which I think is right. I mean, they only get 1 attack with it in. Doesn't feel fantastic. They do get to go get a land here as well, but I think just getting rid of that creature is going to be worth it in the long term. I think our long-term play of drawing cards, having flyers is actually pretty good. Here they do have a Badger Mole, though, which is also really strong, so I definitely go with the aggressive line here. Our opponent's at 14. I'm like, if I can get rid of their flyer, fire, and we can attack precariously everywhere. They're kind of on a 2-turn clock. They do have a food we have to worry about, but I kind of like our spot here of just getting aggressive and trying to end this game before our opponent can really get moving with their Earth King and their 4/4s. Doesn't feel fantastic here. We go ahead, we block the 4/4, just keeping our life total as high as we possibly can. We're down to 10. Our opponent's at 7. They play a Compassionate Healer. They play a Earth King's Lieutenant, and they have enough mana to still crack their food. So they're really at 10. And then we draw some heat. We draw the Suki Courageous Rescuer, which gives all of our creatures +1/+0. We're able to attack for lethal here. I don't know what we would have done had we not been able to do that. Would have been way closer, but we get there again. We're 2-1. This next hand looks great as well. Can we keep the hot streak alive? Hopping into this next one, thinking of playing the Zhangzhang's Deserters or the Compassionate Healer. Because they play a 2-1, I think it's probably smarter for us to just get a 2-3 online with the Zhangzhang's Deserters. Just so we can block their 2-1 effectively. I think it's the right call. They play another Otter Penguin, which is cool. If they start drawing cards, we could be in for a world of trouble. Here, we go ahead. We don't attack. I just want to make sure that we can get our hand going as much as possible, and then we can flash in the Aang Swift Savior here. We actually end up doing that and bouncing their Wandering Musicians just to make sure they aren't attacking us with anything too crazy next turn. We go ahead here. We draw another land, which is okay. I start attacking everywhere. I kind of want to start to be the aggressor here because we've got the Airbending lesson as well. I play the Compassionate Healer. I think about playing the Watery Grasp, but I end up not doing it. Here, I think we could have traded, but I kind of like that we've got a decent board presence as well as like an Airbending lesson here. It goes pretty hard. We draw the Katara here, which is also fantastic. We go ahead. We attack with our Aang Swift Savior. I want to play the Katara instead of the Airbending lesson attacking everywhere. I think it's right. I think this gives us the potential for next turn to do a like Watery Grasp and Airbending lesson and then buff our entire board. We don't get to do it. They play the Zuko's Exile there, but that card is not great. I mean, we get a clue out of it, which is kind of cool. We go ahead here. We Watery Grasp their Master Piandao. We shuffle it away with the rest of our mana, and then we're able to attack pretty effectively here. So I go ahead and I just swing out. We got a Plains on top. We don't really want that. So they can block our 2/2 if they want. They can block our 1/1 if they want. We're starting to get their life total down to 9, which feels pretty good. We've got essentially 2 removal effects in hand, and they have a United Front, which is really good. So they make 5 2/2s, and they buff their Otter Penguin into a 3/2, which is kind of insane. We go ahead here. We attack with a 2/3 and a flying 2/3. The goal is that we can airbend one of their 2/2s. They did block with 3, which kind of stinks. I don't really think it's worth it for us to lost days one of the tokens. So here we just trade. We end up getting 2 of their tokens away, which isn't bad. We play another Zhangzhang's Deserters here. I think a 2/3 is pretty good against this board still. Here they play the Lost Days on our Aang Swift Savior, which is not bad. It's also not fantastic because we're going to be able to draw it again. Then we can airbend their Wandering Musicians again. We end up blocking here, just keeping our life total as high as we possibly can. We go ahead, we just pass through this turn. I'm going to make it sure that we can draw the Aang with our clue token. And then we can play the Aang. We can airbend the Wandering Musicians. So we're going to go ahead and do that here, which does feel nice. So we can play that. We can get rid of their Wandering Musicians. And now they can't really attack super effectively into our board unless they want to get crazy. They do want to get crazy, which is cool. Okay, so they lose a 2/2, but I guess they want to just draw cards with their Waterbender Ascension here, which is certainly a choice. Here they play the Wandering Musicians again. Now we attack with our 2/3, and then the goal here is that we can just win next turn. So we go ahead, we play the Momo Playful Pet, and then we're going to Lost Days their Wandering Musicians on our opponent's turn. I meant to do this before combat. I actually let them go into combat, not my finest, but we're still just going to Lost Days it, which is, I think, totally fine. They go ahead and they make both of their 3/2s unblockable, spending almost all their mana to do so, and we're going to get there again in this one because we can transform our Aang. It can just attack for 5. We also pull the Hakoda there, which is great, and we get there again. Now we're 3-1 on the day, starting to rip through this run. Up in this next one, we go first. It's a decent hand. We can play an Earth Kingdom Protectors into a couple of Zhangzhang's Deserters, which is fine. Like, it's nothing spectacular. It's also not bad either. So we go ahead here. We put the counter on the Earth Kingdom Protector so we can attack with a 2/2 with Vigilance. Next turn, it can be a 3/3 with Vigilance, which is not awful. Our opponent here does not play anything, and then we pull the Aang Swift Savior. So we go ahead, we attack everywhere. Goal being that we can Aang Swift Savior something on our opponent's turn, which can be really nice. Here they play the Rock-a-Lanche, which is decent. What's crazy about this Aang, I didn't even realize, it can airbend a earth-bended creature. It can get rid of a land creature, which I did not realize most of the airbending effects don't allow you to do that. So that is a crazy turn for us. Here, we just start attacking everywhere. We've only got 3 lands, but I don't think we're going to need a ton more. We go ahead and just play out the Water Tribe Captain here so that we have as much power and toughness on the board as we possibly can. They play a Kyoshi Warriors here, which is not bad. We could have played the Boomerang Basics on it, but here I'm just going to play the Young Deserters on the Water Tribe Captain. And we're just going to attack with the Water Tribe Captain and our Aang here. They do double block, so we trade off with it. We go ahead and we sacrifice our Earth Kingdom Protectors to make our Water Tribe Captain have Indestructible, so we only really lose a 2-2. Here, I decided Boomerang's basic our Zhang's Deserters to draw a card. I want to get to that like 4 mana, 5 mana spot, just to be a little bit more comfortable and draw a card. And then here we also can just play the Zhang's Deserters and buff up our Water Tribe Captain into a 5/5, so it's really not blocked easily at all. We go ahead, we do that. We attack with both of those. We get our opponent down to 6, and they lose their token as well. Happened this next turn, they played nothing. So we just attack with our 5/5 and our 2/3 again. I decided to attack with the 1/2s as well. They played the Origin of Metal Bending first. Then they Rocky Rebuke, taking out our Aang. Then they can block our Water Tribe Captain. It doesn't kill our thing, though, which feels kind of nice. They still take 2. They go down to 4. And then we just want to play out our Glider Kids. I think us just having the ability to attack in the skies is going to be pretty nice. Don't really want the Suki. We can't play it right now, so we go ahead and we scry that to the bottom of our deck. They have a Saber-Tooth Moose Lion here, which is close to being good, but we can just Watery Grasp that, and then we can attack with our Glider Kids as well, which is super nice, and also our Water Tribe Captain. So just, again, putting a ton of pressure on our opponent. We get there again. We're 4-1. Could today be the day I give away a draft to one of you? Maybe. Here we start with the Momo Playful Pet as a decent enough turn 1 play, and you'll see we just get to attack with that for a couple of turns, which is nice. Just hitting them with the 1/1 with Flying Vigilance. Not bad at all. We also have the Aang Swift Savior again in hand, which is wild. I think about playing it here. I end up not doing it. I want to wait until they have a creature. I don't really want to get rid of their clue here. Here they have the Invasion Submersible, which is the highest rated uncommon in the set. It's an A-, which is crazy to me in 17 lands. That's so high for an uncommon. But we go ahead. We just play the Water Tribe Captain again. I think that's the smart play. Just, again, getting power and toughness out there. I don't really want to airbend the Invasion Submersible with the Aang. Doesn't seem that good to me. So here we end up, we don't really have great attacks. I end up just playing the Master Piandao, hoping we can attack next turn with that, going in some allies out of our deck, putting them into our hand. Seems decent enough. But here they have another Invasion Submersible. They have 2. Could you imagine somebody having more than 2 Invasion Submersibles? I certainly cannot. That's so many. They end up attacking us here. I go ahead and I block. I just get a little bit nervous about our life total. Maybe that was the wrong call. We go ahead and we Watery Grass their Glider Kids, and then we hold up our Aang Swift Savior here. We could have Boomerang Basic something, but I end up not doing it. Here they have a Cat Owl, which is decent. I think that's a pretty good target for the Aang. So I go ahead, I fire it off, I airbend their 4/4, which just makes the most sense to me because the Submersible will get some more enters action, and they didn't have the land to play it again. We do attack here. I want to get a little bit aggressive on the Crackback. They do have the Water Bending Scroll. They have another Invasion Submersible. Oh my gosh. Okay, 3 is a ton of those. Way better than Airbending too, because now our Piandao costs 5 again. Is going to really slow us down. So here we go ahead. We Watery Grasp their other 3/3, and then we Boomerang Basics their Cat Owl just to get that tempo back on our side. And we're going to continue to get aggressive here. I want to just get their life total as low as I possibly can because they have got a lot of action over there. I want to end this game sooner rather than later. They do play another Glider Kids, which is good. Our opponent's kind of got a mirror match here. Of some flyers and some bounce and some tempo action. They end up attacking us with the Invasion Submersible. We're not going to block. We go ahead, we play our Invasion Reinforcements, and this is where I take a really faded line. I decide to transform our Aang so that we can attack with it this turn. We can put a 1/1 counter on every creature we have and deal 6 points of damage to our opponent. They take all 6. They go down to 4. So now I'm trying to put a little bit of pressure on them. They have so many cards in hand. They have so many things to do, but I'm hoping that this can be enough for us to take it. I go ahead, I swing out. I attack everywhere. We put more counters onto our ground creatures, and then we go ahead and we make all of our creatures have Indestructible with the Hakoda. They do play into the Avatar state, so they're not dead yet. They go down to 1, which is really sketchy. We're still at 8. We're not dead on board as it currently stands, and we're just hoping we can punch through for that last point of damage here. In this next turn, all we can do is attack everywhere. They got 3 mana up, and they do not have what it takes to stop us. We get there again in this one, taking down our opponent there and keeping this hot streak alive. Hopping into this next one, our opening hand is decent. We go ahead and keep it. We can play the Momo Playful Pet on 1, eventually into the Kyoshi Warriors is totally fine. We draw an Airbending Lesson there too as well, which is good for just some tempo and drawing of cards. We don't draw an island there, but we do get to attack with our 1/1 with Flying and Vigilance, which is not awful. Our opponent does have a Sokka Lateral Strategist here. We do end up drawing the island, which is good. We also have a pretty decent target for the Airbending Lesson here in the Sokka Lateral Strategist. We go ahead, we fire it off pre-combat. combat just to keep our life total as high as we can and to stop our opponent a little bit here. They end up playing a Cat Owl for 4 mana, which is decent. We go ahead, we get our Teo out there on the battlefield. We don't attack with the Momo. We can't really attack into the 3/3 quite yet, but hopefully we can eventually start to draw some cards and draw through our deck here. They got an Ostrich Horse, which is totally decent. They actually don't get the land, so they can have a 4/2, which is interesting. We end up going ahead and firing off the Kyoshi Warriors, and then I also just want to get rid of their Cat Owl next turn, so I play a preemptive Watery Grasp here, and then we are able to attack with our Teo Spirited Glider just to sort of start to filter through our deck here, which is really nice. They can block, which is totally fine, but no harm, no foul there. We get to draw a card. They've got a Zhangzhang's Deserters here. They put the counter on the Cat Owl, which is weird to me. They are able to whack us for 4 here and untap it, so maybe they thought we weren't going to Waterbend it away. But here we can just play the Suki, we can play the Zhangzhang's Deserters, then we can pay the Waterbending cost to get rid of their Cat Owl, and then we can attack with our Momo Playful Pet. We can draw a card, we're hitting them for 3. I'm starting to feel pretty decent about this one in general. Opponents only got 2 cards left in hand, and then they play the Legend of Yang Chen, which is really good. Gets rid of our Suki here, which does not feel fantastic, so we're not going to have the ability to buff our entire board, which definitely hurts. We take 4 here from their Ostrich Horse, going down to 12. Here we start by just attacking, drawing, and then discarding a Plains. We're then able to play the Zhangzhang's Deserters. I go ahead and I buff up the Teo here just to make it a 2/5 with flying, and then just continue to hold the Watery Grasp for whenever they do flip the Legend of Yang Chen, so we can get rid of that as a pretty big target on the board. Here we draw an Earth Kingdom Protector, which is decent. We're going to continue just attacking in the sky. We drew an island. We get to discard it again, which feels quite nice. And then again, we're just holding on to our Watery Grasp for the Legend of Yang Chen, which is something we need to get rid of pretty quickly. They play Raucous Audience here, and then they play the Sandbender Storm. They don't have any legal targets for that, which is crazy, so they Earthbend 3 so that they can Airbend our Teo, which is really strong here. We end up triple blocking and keeping our Kyoshi Warriors alive to get rid of their Wandering Musicians. We go ahead and now we play the Watery Grasp on their Yang Chen. We play the Teo so that we can draw and discard. Big mistake here. I kind of skipped through it, but I did not do the Waterbending before combat, so we don't actually get to do any damage to our opponent here. I wasn't really thinking through that, so they got to block, so they get to keep their life total high, which is a huge mistake. They end up attacking us everywhere. They got an Origin of Metal Bending, which is not bad. Our side of the board is still totally okay, though. They play True Ancestry. They can't get back the Legend of Yang Chen because it's in their library, which is super nice. We continue doing the attacking in the skies thing. We then can play a Glider Kids, and hopefully we can have lethal next turn is the goal. Compassionate Healer, I think, is totally fine. If nothing else, it's a good discard, so we can put a counter on one of our creatures. They go ahead, they crack their clue. They got 4 mana left. They end up attacking us everywhere. We block the 3/3 with a 1/2. We block the socket, and we get there again with our Army of Flyers hopping into this next one. If we get this win, we're actually getting a trophy today. We end up playing the Earth Kingdom Protectors on turn 1. 6 wins in a row, 6-1. Hoping we can get it done here. We go ahead and play the Zhangzhang's Deserters, putting a counter onto the Earth Kingdom Protectors, and then attacking our opponent for 2 is totally fine. Really hoping we can draw a land here. It would be huge for unlocking our hand. We might have to do some Boomerang basics, though, if we get into dire straits. And we do, which is not great. We'll put the Zhangzhang's Deserters back into our hand. We still don't draw a land. Uh-oh. Could we be going down here? I hope not. I sure hope not. I will say Momo Playful Pet was not a horrible draw. Having a flyer out there isn't the worst thing in the world. I also really wouldn't mind losing it in Scrying too. Here we do draw land, which is fantastic. We go ahead, we attack with our Momo, and then I'm just trying to draw as many lands as we can here. So I'm thinking of Airbending Lessing their North Pole Patrol here. I think that makes the most sense. Hoping we can draw land on either of these next 2 draw steps would be fantastic. We end up drawing a Plains there, which is great. So now we've got more cards in hand. We're actually a little bit ahead on board. I'm starting to feel okay about this one. We can attack with our Momo Playful Pet here. We could have attacked with the Earth Kingdom Protectors. I decided not to. I think the longer this game goes, the better it is for us. Probably not playing that Appa anytime soon, so I think making a 2/2 is decent here. And again, we just are hoping to draw as many lands as we can to play all the action in our hand. Here we play the Zhangzhang's Deserters pre-combat to put a counter on the Teo Spirited Glider, and our entire goal is just attacking in the skies and hoping it works out. We play the Zhangzhang Deserters again on the Momo Playful Pet this time. We're attacking for 5 in the sky. Technically, our opponent is on a 3-turn clock here if nothing else changes, and then we draw the Aang, which is insane. I'm starting to feel like we might have a trophy in us today. Would be insane, but Aang plus the flyers we already have, I think we've got a really good shot here. They play a Rowdy Snowballers, which is good. They tapped on our Momo. Then they Deadly Precision our Teo, which is also really strong. But our Momo is just tapped and stunned. We go ahead and we sacrifice our Earth Kingdom Protectors to keep our Teo alive, which I do believe is the right call. I think just drawing and discarding is really, really strong. We end up discarding the deserters here so we can make our creature into a 3/6. And then my entire goal is just have our 2 flyers next turn, plus the Aang will flash in, and I think we got a pretty good chance at it. They play a Watery Grasp on the Teo Spirited Glider, then they go for Energy Bending, which was interesting. And if they have no other action, we can just Airbend North Pole Patrol, and then we'll be able to attack everywhere, and we get there again. Oh my goodness, we're 7-1 on this trophy run. This deck was awesome. No challenge, no problem. Really excited with how this deck worked and played out. I hope you enjoyed it. So based on my performance, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of a draft. One of you, all I have to claim that is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. I'll be reaching out to one of you in the comments for the details to claim that free arena draft. Thanks y'all for watching. Until next time.